Hey guys, welcome to Motoroids. My name is Amit and this is a rather unique motorcycle because as we know there are quite a few motorcycles in the 125cc segment, but one that squarely targets the rural customer along with those who travel exclusively to work in the urban environment are almost none. So this motorcycle is trying to target a specific segment which doesn't have a very focused product for, and in that segment I think it works. Today I'm going to let you know everything about this product, so stay tuned in the end because as you know at Motoroids we give you details that nobody else does. So let's start with understanding what are the building blocks of this motorcycle. At the heart of this motorcycle is a 125cc air cooled engine which interestingly doesn't have FI, it still operates on an e-carb. So Bajaj have found a way to go around the FI to comply with the BS6 norms and use the resultant cost savings in adorning this motorcycle with some rugged bits like this crash guard here, this carrier here, the brace on the handlebar here, this raised front fender, the gaiters, and more importantly what you see here is a square swing arm, but the entire chassis of this motorcycle including this single down tube here plus the one that runs inside is square cross section. So when you have a square cross section you have more rigidity and more torsional strength, so the money that has been saved in circumventing fuel injection has been put into bits where it comes across as a more rugged motorcycle. Now talking specifically of the numbers, this motorcycle boasts of class leading power which is 10.9 PS at 8000 RPM. To put things in perspective, the Super Splendor produces 10.8, Glamour at 10.8 and Shine at 10.7, so a minimum of 0.1 PS more, but this power is produced at 8000 RPM while the other motorcycles in the segment produce it at 7500 RPM, so 500 RPM more. The torque here is more than everything else except for the Shine. It's at 11 Newton meters, but it's produced at 5500 RPM while the other motorcycles produce it at 6000 RPM. The Shine matches it, but the Super Splendor and Glamour have 0.4 Newton meters less. It also gets a 5-speed transmission and has the longest wheelbase and the second best ground clearance at 170 mm. The saddle height here is 810 mm, which is rather high because the other motorcycles in the segment are less than 800 mm, but that should not be much of a problem because the seat is slim and the tank is slim. So as you can see, me being 5 feet 10 inches, I can actually dig my heels in the ground with a little bend in my knees, although I would have appreciated had the seat height been a little less than what it is. Now since we are on the subject of the seat, another great thing about the seat is that it's segment leading in terms of its length and it's also quilted, so it has these two unique properties which no other motorcycle in this segment has. Now the length of the seat is 700 mm and the second longest seat in the segment is 651 mm, that of the Shine, so a full 49 mm longer than the other motorcycle. The wheelbase here is also the longest at 1285 mm, matched only by the Shine. The other two motorcycles are lesser in terms of the wheelbase. Now the braking duties are taken care of by a 240 mm disc up front and 130 mm drum at the rear. You can also have 130 mm drum up front, and the braking system here is a mechanical CBS, and the giveaway for that is this little flap here. It's a patented technology by Bajaj which doesn't use a hydraulic system, it uses a mechanical system. You also have a flap here, and this braking mechanism is unique to Bajaj sub 125cc motorcycles. Tires, Eurogrip, 80 section up front, 100 section at the rear, and both are tubeless alloys, 17 inches. You have this bikini fairing and a traditional grille here with halogen bulb, no LED elements here except for this DRL. The blinkers are also bulb up front and at the rear, and the tail lamp is also a bulb unit. There are absolutely no LED illumination unit save for the DRL. Now coming towards the switch gear, as you can see there is no tacho. You have this fuel gauge here with the Bajaj logo, and you have the speedo with just an odo. You don't even have a trip meter, so the instrument console is as basic as it gets. In terms of the switch gear, you have a pass switch, high and low beam turn indicators. This is the horn, you have the light turn on and off switch, and you have an engine starter button. You don't have an engine kill switch, so that's missing here. Also, while you find that button on some premium motorcycles, a hazard switch is also not there. Also, the engine start is not silent, so you have some noise coming in when the engine starts. Some other motorcycles in the segment have a silent start, which is missing here. Now let's talk about the exhaust, and it has the typical Bajaj grunty, throaty kind of a note. Let's have a listen. Now another important thing about the engine and transmission is that while it has a 5-speed transmission, but the gear shifts are all down. So it's not 1 down, 4 up, it's all down, and it took me some time to get used to it because I have not ridden a motorcycle with that kind of a shift pattern for a very long time. You also have these bar end weights, and the mirrors look nice for a basic motorcycle, and as you can see, they are pretty rugged, pretty sturdy, and they are very wide. They give you a very good view of what's coming from behind. The seat is very comfortable. The seating position is upright. You put your feet slightly in the forward position, and the handlebar is reasonably upright. So for those who are looking for a commuterish stance, this should not be a problem. The bar and weights do their bit in cutting the vibrations, but I'll come to performance in a little bit. All the bits that you see here, including this crash guard, this carrier, this bash plate which is meant to protect the engine when you're going over bad roads, all of this is standard fitment. None of these are accessories, so Bajaj have indeed added a lot of value in terms of metal. You also get this USB socket as a standard fitment, which again is a great value add. Some other important things that you would probably appreciate is that while there is a sari guard on the left hand side, of course, is that while you have a sari guard on the other side, a proper sari guard with a footrest, on this side you have a proper footrest. So they have taken care of the rural needs. You have this heat shield, and the exhaust with that contrasting silver finish and perforations looks rather nice. Another great bit about this motorcycle is that it comes with suspension in suspension or SNS technology, and you have 3 rated springs. You have this one rating here, the other one here, and the one inside. So it should do a good job of absorbing bumps, but does it? I'll let you know in a bit. This is also 5-speed adjustable. The chain is fully covered, so that again is a good bit. However, the footrests are very basic and are covered in rubber. The shifter is a heel and toe shifter, so that those who are commuting to work don't spoil their shoes. It comes with a side stand and a main stand, but it doesn't come with a side stand inhibitor, which some other motorcycles in the segment do. The grab rail is functional, and this carrier should help those lugging load quite a bit. This is going to be very useful and is going to be a draw for those who are buying this motorcycle in the rural environment. As you can see, there is enough and more space on the rear seat also for a pillion. It has a 125X branding right here. So in the rural setting where people want a lot of space on the seat, that requirement has been very well taken care of. Now this engine is also a twin spark engine, that is Bajaj's DTSI engine. You also get this rubber cladding here to protect the tank from any scratches. The fuel tank capacity here is 11 liters, which is a little less than the Super Splendor, which has 12 liters, but is more than the Glamour and the Shine, which have 10 and 10.5 liters respectively. You also get these rubber moldings on the grab rail, the crash guard, and on this brace on the handlebar as well. Now this motorcycle, while minimalistic, is built for durability, for rugged use, and for frugality. And how well does it perform? Well, I took a test ride of this motorcycle and I have some observations to share. Now Bajaj says that the tractability of this motorcycle is fantastic in the 3rd, 4th and 5th gear. I tested it for its tractability, and indeed it is fantastically tractable. In the 5th gear, this pulls from as low as 25 kilometers per hour. In the 4th gear, it pulls from as low as 20 kilometers per hour. In the 3rd gear, it pulls from 15 kilometers per hour, and in the 2nd gear from as low as 10 kilometers per hour. So very tractable engine. In gears, I tested its speed, and in the 1st gear it goes to 30 kilometers per hour. In the 2nd gear, 45 kilometers per hour. 3rd gear, 70 kilometers per hour. 4th gear, 93 kilometers per hour. And in the 5th gear, the top speed of this motorcycle on the speedo is 108 kilometers per hour. Although Bajaj claims that the true speed of this motorcycle is about 98 kilometers per hour. So the speedo indicated speeds are more than what the real actual speed is. Now, as I mentioned, the engine is very tractable, so that is not a problem. It feels nice and doesn't hesitate much when you rev it. In fact, reaching its top speed is also not a problem, which is a good thing for a small puny engine. 125cc engine reaching 108 kilometers speedo indicated speed is a good thing, and it doesn't take much time, so the acceleration and the power and everything is good. It's meant to lug loads, so the torque is very good. As I mentioned, the torque is produced lower down the rev range. In fact, Bajaj says that 90% of its torque is available between 3500 and 8000 rpm. So that should say something about the tractability and the torque of this motorcycle. About the refinement, sure, this is not the most refined motorcycle in the segment. There are other motorcycles which are more refined, but having said that, for most part this motorcycle is vibe free. Only when you take it to the extremes do you feel some vibes building up, particularly on the seat and on the foot pegs, but they are mild ones and not something to bother about. However, I would still maintain that there are motorcycles which are smoother, not just in terms of the handlebar, foot peg and seat vibrations, but also the way the engine feels. This engine feels a little bit gruff, but overall this still is a reasonably refined unit. The one thing that I did not like about this motorcycle is the braking. It probably could have been stronger. When I tried to brake hard, it didn't stop in the time that I stipulated. I thought that the braking could probably have been stronger. Also, it did not stop in a straight line. It does go off the line a little bit, so the braking department could probably have been a little bit better, because some other motorcycles in the segment offered better braking. The tires are okay, they are not bad. At 100 section for the rear, the tire size is reasonable, but these Euro grip tires are not the grippiest, and you should not be leading this motorcycle too hard or trying to be going too fast on this motorcycle, as this is not meant for corner carving. Another thing about the ride quality, while it's decent, it's slightly on the firmer side. Right now the suspension is set up somewhere in the middle, and there it feels slightly firm, and I think that's a good thing, because this motorcycle in the rural setting will be used with 2-up or with a lot of load, and with that load and 2-up riding, the suspension will settle down nicely and then it will feel nice and supple. But with a single rider at the middle setting, it feels slightly firm, but it does a good job of taking in all the rough patches that rural conditions have to throw at it with aplomb. So it's a rugged motorcycle which is built to last. In terms of durability, Bajaj tells us that this engine has been built to last a very long time, and the enhancements here include a graphite coated piston, a second piston which is made of proper hard steel, paper based clutch for better life, silent cam chain, lesser friction, and as I mentioned, a square cross section for strength and durability. Now, as I mentioned, this motorcycle is targeted squarely at the rural customer and the urban customer who will use it primarily as a workhorse to go to work and come back, delivery boys, site workers, people who work at superstores, etc. So it has bits that some other motorcycles don't. However, it does lose out on some fancy bits because it's a cheaper motorcycle. It costs significantly less than some other 125cc motorcycles in the segment. It has some advantages. It is rugged. It gets some additional accessories which some other motorcycles don't. However, there are some bits that are missing on this motorcycle, and let me list those things out. It doesn't have an engine kill switch. Hero offers start-stop system, which is not there. It also offers auto sail, which is a stall-free technology in higher gears. That is not here. It gets a fully analog instrument console, unlike the digital analog system on some other motorcycles. It doesn't have a mileage meter. It doesn't get a silent start. It doesn't have any LED lighting, no FI, but that also means that it's easy to service the carburetor. It doesn't have an engine inhibitor for the side stand. Also, it gets a mechanical CBS, which is different, and the braking is not as strong as some other motorcycles. What it gets is crash guards, belly pans, SNS suspension, segment leading power and torque, charger, a carrier, a long quilted seat, good value for money, DTSI tech, a handle cross bar, raised fender, and a customized sari guard. Durability, long life and minimal maintenance. But where this motorcycle really shines is in the pricing department. And if you compare its pricing with some other motorcycles in the segment, when I say the segment, in the 125cc segment, you have a lot of motorcycles on the premium end. You have the Raider, you have the Pulsar 125 and some other motorcycles. But this motorcycle is primarily targeted against the Super Splendor and the Shine, maybe the Glamour also, but not so much. And in that context, the price here for the disc variant is 74,554. And if you compare it with the Super Splendor, it's more than 7,000 rupees less. As compared to the Glamour, 8,000 rupees less. And if you compare it with the Shine, it's again about 8,000 rupees less. So it does offer a lot of value, about 10% less pricing than its immediate competition. At 71,354 for the drum variant, also the story is the same, and it is selling at a significantly lesser price than the competition. So for those who are from the rural market, who are looking for a rugged workhorse, I think this motorcycle will appeal a lot. We have seen that the CT brand name still has a lot of pull. The fuel efficiency here should be good at about 55 to 60 kmpl. And this motorcycle, for those who want to go off the road, use it to load it up, maybe ride two up with their big frames, this motorcycle is meant to work as a proper workhorse and should appeal to a very large market. It also comes with a 5-year warranty, which is very good, and that should further sweeten the deal for those who are looking at value. In terms of colors, this motorcycle is available in 3 colors. This one, which is the black with green, you have a black with blue and a black with red. So you have 3 colors. And with that, I really think that I was able to answer all your questions about this new motorcycles from Bajaj, which is targeted at primarily the rural customer. But if you still have any questions, you can put them down in the comment section. I'll be very happy to answer them. If you like the video, do hit the like button. Subscribe to Motoroids. We do long format, high quality videos. So if you like quality content, do not forget to subscribe. And until next time, this is Amit Shangani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and ride safe.